Training camp starting this week, and we have a special guest.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is another week of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day on a Monday, July 22nd and a Tuesday, July 23rd. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Lions today, brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. If you are watching and subscribe on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, you see him on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking his silence, he's back with a vengeance. The former now Lions beat writer at the Detroit News, and now the proprietor of his own website, his own network. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Justin Rogers is with us today. How about that for an introduction?
Yeah, back with a vengeance after taking the weekend off.
I read your mailbag on Friday, and I'm like, wait a minute. He was telling me he was taking some time away. Not really, but congratulations. First of all, it's great to see you. Do you have anything you want to say? Like, hey, I'm back. Hey, I'm like, how do we start this thing the right way?
Oh, it's a good question. I think I would like to start by just thanking people, right? Like, when it came out that I was leaving the news, it came out before I expected, but that's my fault. I should have expected it. You got to fill that job, right? It's an important job. The comments, the emails, the texts, the phone calls, one being from you, like there were hundreds. I mean, just hundreds. And they were overwhelming. And I was talking to my wife about it because I tried to read them all and respond to them all. And I said, like, you can't find consensus on anything in this world anymore. And the commentary, even in like the darkest corners of the internet, when I'm talking, not the dark web, but the comment section on the DetroitNews.com, like the praise or the kind words were almost universal. And I was like, I got like a 95% approval rating here. Like, maybe I'll go for that nomination for president. And so I had long since made the decision of where I was going when that came out in June. But it only emboldened me. It only strengthened my resolve. And, I saw a similar wave of kind words when I posted that final mailbag on Friday. And I knew I was launching today 8 a.m. Of course, I was out of bed at 5:30 in the morning with all the natural anxiety that comes with that. I didn't know what today would be. And it's just another wave of affirmation, confirmation that what I've done in this industry has been appreciated and respected. And that love the audience has for me is a two-way street, because I have that love for the audience. And it's why I took this jump. It's why I didn't leave the industry when that was the other alternative here, and kind of one that got me thinking about, doing something different.
All right. So you resign your post with the Detroit News, double-digit years covering the team as the beat writer. You and I go back to the Pistons days when you were at M-Line and
Rodney era.
Yes. And so you decide Detroit. Are we calling it the Detroit Football Network? Detroit Football Network?
I don't think I got a "the" in there. It's Detroit Football Network.
You're starting Detroit Football Network. You put it out on your Twitter at Justin_Rogers, and tell people how they can find you. I'm already a subscriber, but how did this all come about?
How far are we going back here? You said we got 26 minutes.
Yes, or longer, whatever you want.
So look, I think we're always, thinking about our career and our futures, and in journalism, probably even more so, because it's not the most stable industry. And I've been blessed with tons and tons of stability, and I've been blessed with great opportunities to grow and develop. And I love both my time at MLive and Detroit News, but I was thinking about what more can I do? And in December, I got a call from a really good friend outside of industry. And he said, hey, we have this leadership level position developing, and we were brainstorming as a staff, and your name came up. And the owner of the business, who I know through my friend, said, well, he's not going to jump, is he? And he's like, well, let me call him. And so he called me and said, hey, would you be interested? And it was a very interesting position. The potential for growth was there, and it was not this. I mean, it was something very different. It would take me out of journalism altogether. And I said, look, I owe it to myself to listen, right? Like you don't go into journalism to make a ton of money. And I've got 2 kids barreling towards college with their, 4.0s, and I have to think about what the future looks financially. And so, I kind of got a water level of what that offer would look like. And I said, all right, I'm going to go to the news. And historically, when I've asked for raises throughout my career, whether news or MLive, I've always asked emotionally, and that's a terrible thing to do. Like you just should, but it's just it works so much, and I hit the bitter end, and it's just like I'm dying here, paying more money, and it often does not work out in my favor. And so this time I came prepared.
Oh,
you
had receipts?
I made a PowerPoint presentation, and it had pie charts and bar graphs, and and I did a lot of research. I talked to a lot of my colleagues in a professional way to get a sense for what others were making around me. And respectfully, I believe in this market, I'm the best at what I do. I think that, there's people that maybe break news a little bit better than me. There's people that maybe write narratives a little bit better than me. There's people that do individual things better than me. But in terms of everything I bring to a company, I do a lot behind the scenes that reporters just have no interest in, just because of the background that I have and the know-how that I had developing through the ranks at MLive. Like I want to make the team I'm playing for the best team possible. And so I met and I just said, hey, here's what the market rate is. Here's what I feel like I'm worth. And I have these other offers. And so my preference always, and I would have stayed at the Detroit News at the drop of a hat. I loved working there. I loved my colleagues. I loved my management, but I had a number for what I was worth in mind. And within that, in December, I started talking to some people. I don't know what month the Lions played the Saints, but there's a gentleman in New Orleans that's doing the independent route. I started kind of researching it and talking to people, called the Lions up in December. And I said, hey, if I was to ever do something like this, would you support me in the sense that I would maintain a credential? It took them a couple of days to get back to me, but the answer was yes. You've established that with us, that you deserve it. And so I registered a domain in December.
Nice.
I started creating a checklist for what that would look like. And I had the meeting in January with the news where I set expectations. And I said, you have until June to give me an answer. I wanted to stay. I wanted them to say yes. I loved that job. I love those people. But I knew that I owed it to myself that if they said no, I had to jump. And I'm a crazy planner.
And they said no.
Crazy planner. Like the amount of details and documentations and conversations with people in different positions and industries. I have a friend that's a really high up PR executive for a Fortune 500 company. I have a friend that runs a nonprofit political platform that largely relies on donor revenue. And so I had all these perspectives, and at some point I was just like, I can do this. And it's going to be very, very painful early, because guess what? Today I woke up and my salary was actually $160 per year, because 2 friends signed up before I launched. So for all intents and purposes, it was zero. And I'm going to be paying for my own travel. So actually it was probably closer to negative 20,000 was my salary today. You got to convince your wife that's okay. and
I have a good CPA for you, by the way, so that you can write it off. We'll get to that another time.
I got a good CPA too there, Matt, but we'll compare notes. So look, I was ready for today. I was emotionally ready today. I was mentally ready today. I was physically ready for today. But again, it goes back to thank you, because whatever expectations I had with this launch, whatever tempered, muted expectations I tried to have to not lead to disappointment, I could not in my wildest imagination envisioned it going as well as it has. And I'm well on my way, and I'm going to be the same guy. I'm going to be the same guy that busts my ass every day to bring these fans the best news, information, analysis, while being prepared to evolve in a new direction where I'm not constrained by some things. There will be more voice. There will be more how the sausage is made on the storytelling aspect of it. And, hopefully sooner rather than later, there's going to be multimedia elements to it in terms of, doing something in this space.
Well, I mean, this is exciting. This is a big venture, and it takes some big stones for you to do this. I want to get more in depth with Justin about what Detroit Football Network is going to look like, and how people can get signed up. We got to talk about the team. We got rookies here. We got veterans all coming in early as well. We'll do that coming up next. But first, Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. We all love sports. We love them so much we don't want them to stop. But right now, it's kind of a dead period. We got Major League Baseball, and that's it. Playoffs have wound down. Heck, WNBA is not even playing right now. They're off for the Olympic break. But you want sports to sports, like you still want that to happen. FanDuel is going to let you keep going whenever you want. All you got to do is open up the FanDuel app and dream up bets anytime that you are in the mood. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com. Start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Back with Justin Rogers with us, formerly of the Detroit News. Today started his new venture on Substack called Detroit Football Network. You can subscribe. We're going to get all that info from Justin. I already subscribed because I went on his Twitter at Justin_Rogers. The announcement is there. You pay the money, you're going to get to read Justin each and every day. I want to say something about the Detroit News. There are some Hall of Famers, like Michigan Sports Hall of Famers you work with. Angelique's going into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. We know Wojo is. Bob's a legend. Like, I don't understand sometimes.
Do I get a vote?
What's that?
Do I get a vote? I might hold Wojo out from his first bet.
I think you're on your way. Yes.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
What bothers me is, and it goes back to when I was on 105.1 the day Tom Gage got pushed out by management. And it was like, what are you doing? Why are they letting you walk? Like, I subscribed because of you. I did. I'm not just saying that because we're friends. I read your stuff. I subscribed to the free because of Dave. And I like what you said today about Dave being your biggest rival. I mean, Lions Beat, man, is damn good. I read Kyle every day. 20man's damn good. I mean, there's a lot, Paula, I check her stuff. The guys at Pride of Detroit and Jeff at Lions Wire are awesome. I mean, that beat is hands down the best. So to not take care of you, I just think sucks. But
I will counter that because, I don't want others having animosity toward them.
I know you don't.
And look,
I love Rod Beard, by the way. Rod's a great choice for the sports editor. Great.
Yeah. Well, I've had great bosses there. I really have, but I reworked my intro letter before I launched today. And my initial one was more about, just me being the hyper financially conservative, scared to ever take a jump guy. And this was the antithesis of everything I've ever done. And so the Detroit News is very fiscally responsible. They are. They have a budget and they stick to it. And they by not going over it, it protects the whole of the entity, right? It's not me that was employed there. It's 50, 60 reporters. And, if the choice was to give me the money I was looking for, and it ultimately was going to cost someone else their position, in whether that's a layoff or a buyout situation, then, I know that's how economics work, but I don't want that, and so how can I be mad that they're being fiscally responsible when that's important to me to be fiscally responsible? So I told him that, like, I have zero hard feelings, but the nice thing for me is I'm really, really competitive. I have a drive. And so, it is without malice that I told him this, but like, you have lit a fire, and I will find another gear, which I don't even know what that looks like. I always feel like I'm running in the highest gear, but I will find another gear because that's who I am. And so that's the decision they made. And I'm completely fine with it, completely at peace.
By the way, Colton Pouncey too at The Athletic, I didn't mention, read him too. Does a great job. We've had him on the show many times. All right. So how do they find you? How do they subscribe? Where are they going directly other than your Twitter or X account?
Yeah. I could have just stuck on the Substack. I thought that was a little complicated. I registered my own domain. It is in every effort to be simple and memorable. It is DetroitFootball.net. Other places will get you there through redirects because I bought a few domains to protect myself, but DetroitFootball.net will get you there, and it should be fairly straightforward in terms of subscribing. You do need a Substack account, but I don't think they require very much information. The process is simple to get one of those.
Or I think I saw, I subscribed. I think I can say this publicly, right?
I don't know.
I paid $80 for the year. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in. I'm going to get your stuff. And so it just I can get it sent to my email, right, too, or I have to be on Substack?
I think you have to have a Substack account to subscribe. I control what goes to your email. I'm going to be figuring out, what the right tone and tenor of that is. I don't want to flood people, but I want people to see the stuff I think is good. Part of this is I don't have to do every little thing anymore. I just saw the Lions sign an offensive lineman. It happened while we were here. I don't know anything about him. He's a depth piece, but if I was at Detroit News right now, I'm going and I'm stopping everything and I'm writing up 6 or 7 graphs on this guy. And I'm saying this guy because I didn't see his name yet, but this guy could end up being a diamond in the rough and end up making the roster. I don't know, but a lot of these signings at this time of year are an extra body for camp, and I don't have to give everything the same weight because I no longer have to fill a newspaper. I can pick and choose and be more selective. I can consolidate things into kind of singular items. And so, there's flexibility here, and that's something I also appreciate.
Ike Boatger, formerly of the Bills, is not going to interrupt our Justin Rogers time. although
if you're listening to this, Ike, you can interrupt my time whenever you want.
Let me ask you this last thing about you.
And
then I want to get to the team. But so are you going to have, when you were at the News, you were the beat writer. And yes, there were times you were able to do editorial pieces, but obviously there was Bob and Neo and all this other stuff. And even Nolan, like, are you doing more opinion stuff? Like, what's going to be the tenor, do you think, after a game?
So my intention is to use what I've established throughout my career as my foundation. And that is this level-headed, even-keeled, data-driven analysis, film-based, studies, salary cap breakdowns. But, within that, there is room for voice, right? I'm trying to not just create a website for content. My ultimate long-term goal is I want it to be a community. And I want the audience to feel like they are part of the content conversation, right? I want them to feel like if they have questions that they're interested in, there's a groundswell of interest in a topic, that I'll go out and I'll find the answer for them. I'll ask those questions in a press conference if they're the right questions. And, within that, I think there will be more voice. It's, finding my voice, I guess, is something it's been a rediscovery as I've gotten older, because I've learned to tone down maybe some of the more childish antics that I've shown on Twitter as a younger reporter, right? Some of the sarcasm and
We've all done it. We're all
nature. Like, at some point you just have to realize, like, there's no winner in that fight. Like, you just are getting in the mud with, So, I want it to be fun. I want it to be funny when it's appropriate. And then the other part of that is, I still haven't maybe necessarily figured out the delivery mechanism for it, although I think a weekly newsletter will be part of it, is the making of the sausage, right? I want people to, as I maybe go back and recap what stories were written during the week, I can write how it originated. What was the genesis of the story? Why did I think it was important to ask that question in a press conference? How did my maybe perceptions of what the answer would be versus what the answer was change the direction of the story? And then, where did I go from there based on that answer? So people can be more in tune with the process of how I'm getting from start to finish on, a topic.
And to the Lions' credit, I think it's great that they're credentialing you.
Mm-hmm.
You've been around. The news is going to replace you with somebody.
Sure.
We're both Nolan Bianchi fans. He's already there. Maybe he gets it. I don't know. But just another person on the road, that's great for the team. It's more exposure, in my opinion. So that's a no-brainer.
Somebody asked me on a Reddit thread today, like advice for a young journalist, right? And number one, don't let anybody outwork you. And that advice goes to any industry where you want to be the best. Like, just be prepared to outwork everyone always. That sucks, but it's the way it works in this world, and certainly the way it works in America. So be ready to work. And then two, just be respectful and honest and inquisitive. And if you treat people right, it might take a while, but you build a reputation. And I'd like to think that I've done things the right way my entire career. Criticism is measured. It's fair. I'm not afraid to ask the tough questions, but I don't do it in an inflammatory way to get a rise out of somebody. That's part of the job, but you can do it in a way that garners respect. And so when I came to them and asked for this continued credentialing, I didn't feel they owed me anything, but when they said yes, I did feel like I had earned it, right? You earn that through your reputation. And that's I guess something I'm pretty proud of.
Lions report to camp tomorrow. First practice on Wednesday. Justin Rogers is with us now of Detroit Football Network or DetroitFootball.net. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Please subscribe. We're going to talk to him about the team and what to expect. We got some drama in the NFC North today. I love this. There's no drama in Allen Park except for Justin. We'll dive into that coming up next. Locked On Lions brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for small businesses, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. They got the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Seriously, just put that purple hiring tag around your photo there on LinkedIn and get started. Post your job for free. LinkedIn Jobs isn't just a job board. It's where everybody is professionally telling you about their day, what they've been doing at work, what's going on professionally. It's great. You hire professionals with LinkedIn you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for a new job might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites because they're already on LinkedIn. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're not looking in the wrong place. Post your job for free, folks. LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNFL. That's LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Justin Rogers with us. His left of the Detroit News and today started Detroit Football Network. Check out his stuff at Substack, DetroitFootball.net. The guys are coming in, everybody, Wednesday. Justin, what are you looking forward to at training camp? And look, there's no drama in Allen Park. Now there is in Green Bay today with Jordan Love sitting out practices. So it's almost like the Lions are drama-free and everybody else at the top of the NFC got an issue or two.
Okay, good for Jordan Love, by the way. I feel like the Packers are stringing him along, and I don't know about you, but I thought he showed enough last year to invest in him as your quarterback of the future.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
I would sit out too. There's just a point in time where that makes sense for a young man. So, what am I looking forward to? Day one, not a whole lot. What I'm looking forward to is those pads coming on. I have seen this team practicing in the offseason. I know what they look like without pads. There are. It just the tenor of the day changes when the pads come on, and I want to see some of these young players in pads, what they look like. And so, I don't know the day of the first padded practice, but we're less than a week away probably.
Let's say they start the year and the Rams get the ball first, and it's Sunday night football and the crowds go nuts, and there's 3 receivers on the field for the Rams. The Lions have 5 players on the field from the secondary. Who are those 5, if you had to guess right now?
I think your safeties are pretty safe bets. Assuming health with Melifonwu and Kirby Joseph. Carlton is I think very much CB1, whether he's on a 1-year contract or not. I mean, that's why you brought him in. Brian Branch, I know he's starting the offseason on PUP, but I think he will be your nickel. And I didn't believe it when they drafted him. I wanted to kind of pigeonhole him into the same path as Darius Slay and the rookie struggles he went through as a draft pick in that conference and that range, that skill set. But I think it's Terry Arnold's going to be the guy. There is a uncommon confidence and uncommon swagger with that kid. And look, he is going to have rookie lumps. They all do. Cornerback is a very, very difficult position. He was kind of a handsy player in Alabama. They don't let you play handsy in the pros, but outside of some penalty issues, I think he's going to be a quick study, and I think he's going to be, really good, if not by the end of his first year, then year 2.
So you don't see a move of Branch to safety and Robertson in the nickel spot?
No, I think that's certainly possible, and I think you could see some stuff where guys sub in and out. I don't think Aaron Glenn's a guy that likes to reward guys that deliver in practice, and even if they're one step down on the depth chart, he'll find sub packages for you too. So I think you'll see some stuff where there's some rotation. Maybe Joseph or Melifonwu coming off in certain situations. You might see some 3 safety packages. So I think Robertson will see the field. I just do not anticipate that he will be, the starter week 1. If you're asking me right now, talk to me in 3 weeks. Maybe that's.
What's the biggest concern in your mind right now about this roster? Because there's not a lot to be concerned about, but what's the red flag for you?
Yeah, isn't that kind of funny how deep this roster is, and
crazy.
Not just starters, but I mean a lot of the depth pieces are really solid. Biggest concern, I think that they're banking a ton on Jameson Williams, and I don't think they're wrong to bank a ton on Jameson Williams. He showed really, really positive strides, but when you let Josh Reynolds walk and a really, really stable number 2 walk, Donovan Peoples-Jones to this point has not really clicked in the way I thought he would. I thought he was going to kind of step in as that replacement. Khalif Raymond, we know exactly what he is, very solid piece, but Jameson Williams is very much penciled in as number 2 receiver, and therefore you expect number 2 receiver production, and that's probably 800 yards, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. So he has taken very positive steps forward from what we saw when he first got back last year, and the drop issues in practice and the limited route tree. There's a lot of positives to take in what we've seen in these early practices, but you've got to carry that over to games. You need him to be a legitimate threat in this offense. So I'd say that's probably the biggest concern.
Last 30 seconds. They going to the Super Bowl? What do you think? Are they ready to take that next step?
Just that's what we're going to close on. 30 seconds. The Super Bowl must.
Sorry.
They have as good a shot as anybody in the NFC, right? I mean, they really do. It's San Francisco's I haven't looked at betting odds. I imagine San Francisco's slightly ahead of them, as they should be, because that is an equally deep roster with Super Bowl experience and tons of vets. But you saw it last year. I mean, the Lions were absolutely taking it to them in the first half. They've gotten incrementally better every year. And I don't know. I mean, is it wrong for me to say that it kind of reminds me of the bad boy era Pistons, right? Like they just kept taking those incremental steps until they got over the hump. And I don't know. I think to me, that's when sports are the best. When you watch an organic build from non-contender to contender to champion, and the Lions are on that path, and it's up to them to stay on it.
All right, brother. Great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on your big day, and always respect and love you. You know that, and you're gonna do great. I'm subscribing. I'm in DetroitFootball.net. Good luck. You got this.
Thanks, Matt.
Justin Rogers with us, Detroit Football Network on a Monday. Locked On Lions.